Hello and happy Monday. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. Today, I want to talk to the people who want to do something bigger than what they already are doing, who know that they're meant for something more than what they're spending their daily lives on, and who just want to expand into this bigger space of bigger impact and stronger purpose. So, the reason I want to talk about it is because it's my favorite work to do. It's my absolute favorite work to do. Because we all play small. We all play small compared to what is our true big potential. And I know that because every single human being who is on the path to doing something great with their lives, someone who doesn't want to settle, someone who doesn't want to just have the normal 9 to 5 and then just go home and watch some TV and then go to bed and do it all over again. And there's nothing wrong with people who want that. It's just that that's just not the work that I do. And if you're here, most likely that's not what you want either. So for people who are continuously improving, for people who love growth, for people who want to expand, and for those that feel like they get stuck if they're in the same place for too long, they will keep moving, they will keep growing. And of course there's going to be setbacks along the way. I mean, growth is not linear. But the thing is, we keep expanding and we keep growing until we don't have any more time left, or until we decide that we don't want it anymore. And the very fact that we can keep expanding into new places shows that our potential is defined much more on our willingness to learn new skills, to try different things, to do something that's out of the ordinary compared to what we've already done, more than our actual inherent capabilities. So it's all about just figuring out how to do something extra, how to do something different, how to learn that thing that is keeping us from the next level. And what keeps us there oftentimes, what keeps us in a place of stuckness or plateauing is our inability to see further down the line, or our inability to see what are the thoughts that we're having, what are the belief systems that we're holding that is keeping us in a square box when we're supposed to go for a circle or a triangle. And what I mean by that is that we are all programmed to every single detail of what we do, what we think, what we believe. It's programming, and as we change our programming, it's still programming. It's still a software that's running in our heads that is deciding what do we do, and what we decide on to do is determined by our belief sets around what is possible for us. And in general, what's possible. And some people, they just decide that something else is now possible. And that's how we got to have aircrafts, for example, cars. That someone said, no, we want something that's very different. And everyone said, it's not possible, you can't possibly fly this big heavy metal bird. And they figured it out. And it requires those people who are just crazy to figure it out for the world to keep growing and expanding into these beautiful, amazing places that we can go. Sometimes also in the opposite direction, but I'm not going to get into that. So whatever you believe is possible for you, and in general what can be done, is based on a set of beliefs that are pretty much always limited. We always limit ourselves because we only have the understanding that we've allowed ourselves to have. So when you want to grow into a bigger space, you need to also really challenge and question what is possible for you, what can be done. And that is the challenge. Because if we have lived in the same programming for a long time and we've worked within the boundaries and the restrictions of that programming, then we would have kept proving to ourselves that only this is possible. Only this is possible. I kept doing something different, but it wasn't different enough to actually make a difference. So we kept just running the wheels and running those wheels, and this is what I did, and it was the same thing that happened, and the things that I wanted to happen never happened because we didn't step far enough outside of our belief systems, or we didn't work with enough consistency, or we didn't make the shifts that were actually important. We didn't go deep enough. We didn't get to the root of the cause. We didn't get into what would actually create a difference for us. And once we reach the point where it clicks, now I get it. Now I understand. And we change. And then we make the important change that actually makes a difference. And now we're running on this new programming, and it's like we completely forgot what it was even like living in the old programming. And that is why coaching can sometimes be hard for some people, because we tend to forget what it felt like to be in that space. And it's so easy just to say, oh, just do this thing or just do that thing. Or maybe we've never even tried it. And we see this especially in the fitness industry. We have these super fit people who just always been able to eat healthy, who's always just had like good athletic capabilities. And they make these assumptions about what is possible. And remember, I think it was like a year ago, one of the trainers at the gym I'm at came to me and asked, how many pull-ups can you do? And I could do 3 strict pull-ups. I told him, I could do 3. He said, okay, great. So tomorrow you can do 4. And I laughed. That's just not how it works for most of us, right? Oh, sorry about that. For most of us, we can do 3 pull-ups for a really long time. Now, I said that this was about a year ago, right? And I'm still at like 3.5 pull-ups now. Even though I've gained more upper body strength, even though I've lost body weight, I'm still at about 3.5 pull-ups. Now, I also haven't intentionally put a lot of effort into actually improving them. But I just found it so hilarious because you have this young dude who's incredibly fit, who just thinks that, pull-ups are they're easy. It's the easiest thing in the world. And you can just do another one tomorrow. You just do 4 tomorrow. And then like in 2 weeks, you can do 10. Yeah. Sometimes we've never been. There's the guy who did the from fit to fat to fit. So he was a fit guy. He'd always been fit. He was a personal trainer and he worked with people. And he didn't really fully understand the struggles that people went through when they had, poor eating behaviors and cravings and just poor physical health and low energy and all of these physical and emotional feelings that we have associated with relatively poor health. He just didn't understand it because he'd never been there. So he intentionally gained a lot of weight to lose it all again, to prove to people it can be done, because everyone would always say, but you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like. And he was so surprised to see what people actually go through in terms of the cravings, how our bodies just get addicted to bad food, to food that's really not good for us. And the low energy levels of just eating junk and having poor sleeping habits and the body aches associated with the extra body weight. The body aches, yes, associated with extra body weight. And he gained so much more understanding. And that's why when you work with a coach, you really should work with someone who has been through what you're going through. Maybe not the exact same scenario, but who can understand the feelings, the thoughts, the beliefs that are associated with that. And I think that really makes the best coaches. And this is not just to pride myself of, oh, I used to, go through all of these mind limitations and self-hatred and depression and anxiety. And I know what it's like to be deep, deep, deep down in a hole and not believe in myself. And honestly, those are not even the clients that I work with, because I know that when you're in that spot, nobody can really help you until you're ready to be helped, until you're ready to step out of that. So I can still really understand what it's like to put very heavy, strong limitations on your own mind in terms of what is possible, and the pain that is associated with trying to live a life that is not to the full extent that you really want it to be. When you're just in this life and you're just doing the things that you're told, this is what life is supposed to look like, this is what life is supposed to be, and you just know deep down that that's not what you want. It's not what you want. It is so painful to keep telling yourself that that is what you're supposed to be doing. It is so painful to wake up every single morning and just keep doing it and keep pushing it. And I understand the extreme need to just go get drunk on the weekends or spend the whole day watching Netflix. I still do that sometimes. Sundays, you know. But just constantly distracting myself and stuffing myself with foods, junk foods and sweet things to just drown that pain of living the life that is not fulfilling, of living the life that you're programmed to instead of the life that you actually want. And it was crazy to just uproot and do something completely different. The 2 times that I did that. But it starts to feel more and more natural each time. And you start to realize, I could have had this life this entire time. I could have had a life where I'm the boss of my own time. I could have had the life where I get to work with the people that I want to work with. I get to work with the most amazing human beings on this planet who want bigger things, who have so much talent, so much passion, and they just want to expand into these new spaces, and they're so ready to do it. I get to work with people like that. I get to actually help them find clarity and direction, and I get to get paid for that. I mean, that's, to me, it's still insane sometimes when I think about it, because my head was so much in that game of get up early, go to work, come home, go to the gym, make dinner, watch a movie, go to bed, do it all over again. Go to work, try not to like slap yourself because you're just bored or unfulfilled or stressed or whatever it is. And you just feel like the way that I can show that I'm really good at what I do is just by pushing myself into a place of discomfort and pushing myself into a place where I can show people, look, I'm so in for the cause, for a cause that I was actually never into, but I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing myself to show that I was worthy of the next step, of the next step, of the next step. Going into a direction that was never meant for me. There's just so much pain associated with that. There's so much pain with trying to gain all of this external validation. There's so much pain associated with trying to live a life that was never meant for you. And there's so much pain associated with not fulfilling your full potential. There's so much pain associated with sitting with this gift, sitting with this urge to do something greater and help people and do something that's different and then not do it. And I didn't know what I was sitting on. I didn't think that I had anything that was worthy. I thought that the only reason that I would ever get promoted was if I just kept sacrificing myself so much that they would eventually learn that I'm a loyal, great person to have on the team, and they should keep promoting me and they should keep giving me opportunities. Yet I didn't understand what is it that I do that is actually valuable. I had no idea. I thought this pushing my time and my effort into things was enough. It's not enough. It has nothing to do with anything. Your time in itself is not valuable to any other people than you, but to you it's the most valuable. So yeah, that was a bit all over the place. If you're sitting with this feeling of wanting to do bigger, greater, more impactful things, please don't ignore it. Please don't say that you have to settle. Ask yourself, what is the big change that I want to see in the world? Maybe you want to have people be happier. Maybe you want to have people be more creative. Maybe you want to give more incredible experiences to people. Maybe you want to help them out of a pain. Maybe you want to help them into a structure. Maybe you want to take away some of the things that everybody does that they shouldn't be doing because you've found a way that they don't have to do it anymore. There's so many different things. We all sit with these incredible talents, and just we have something that can really unlock something special for other people. What is that for you? What does that look like? What would it look like? What is that one thing that you have where it's like, if more people knew this, if more people had access to this, if more people got to experience this, the world would be a better place. What is that for you? What does that look like? And once you know what that looks like, you can start expanding into it by figuring out, how do I put my imprint here? How do I make that change for someone? And if you're here, if you're here in my space, you might already have done a lot of that already. How can you now scale it? How can you find ways of making this much bigger? How can you find a way to create much more impact? Look at it as if it's phases. First, you got to figure that thing out. What is it? And then you go to the next phase. How do I help more people have access to it? And then you start putting things into systems and processes so that it can scale infinitely and you can use your time much more strategically and being focused on some very specific things that can help that impact grow even more. So for you, what is that? What is the change that you really want to see in the world, and how do you want to be part of it? That was my question to you for today. Happy Monday. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you will have an incredible week. And I will see you probably Wednesday. So I know that I used to do videos Monday through Friday. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down to 2 to 3 videos per week, so that it doesn't just become a tick box exercise. I need to make sure that I get this video through today. I have so many other ways that I want to provide value. So thank you for being here, and I will see you probably Wednesday. Bye.